Hello again, and welcome to Kabbalah Revealed. I'm Tony Kozenek. In this lesson, we're going to look closely at a Kabbalistic article, something that we looked at a few lessons ago, but we're going to look at it in more detail. It's an article called "There's None Else Beside Him." This article comes from a book called Shamati. Shamati means I have heard. And these articles were lessons spoken by Baal ХaSulam to his students. And his son, Rabаш, Rav Baruch Shalom ХaLevi Aшлаг, was one of his students. And he wrote what his father said. And he kept it in a little personal notebook. And it was something, this notebook was something that he kept with him all the time. He had a few books that he constantly referred to, and this, the directions, the instructions, and the words of his father, he kept close to him. Rav Michael Lightman, who is my teacher and the teacher of B'nai Baruch, was Rav Baruch's personal assistant. He took care of all of his affairs and was with him all the time. And he was his direct disciple. And at the time, towards the end of Rav Baruch's life, Rav Lightman was with him. He was with him in the hospital. He was with him during that process. And during the time that he had studied with him, Rabаш had shown him many texts that he hadn't seen before and that hadn't been shared with some of the other students. And Rav was aware of this notebook, and he had seen it and had borrowed it occasionally to learn from and so on, and it was a very precious thing. And when Rabаш was on his deathbed, he gave this book to Rav Lightman. And Michael Lightman published the book. And it contains beautiful articles describing the inner work of a person. A lot of the work in Kabbalah is technical work. The study of the 10 Sephirot, Talmud Esher Sephirot, and other technical works, the Tree of Life, the Zohar, which deal with the technical aspects of creation as well as the inner states related to them. Well, these articles in the book Shamati, they're specifically made for the student to find himself, to identify inner states and to connect these inner states to the technical work and the Kabbalistic work as a whole. And they contain thought from the highest level of reality. This particular article, There's None Else Beside Him, it encapsulates the entire methodology of Kabbalah. There isn't anything that a person need do or know or consider that's not in this article. And Rabаш told Rav Lightman that it would be a good thing if he read this hundreds of times. We'll read it once today, perhaps, if we can get through it. And as we do, again, we're doing this only to attract upper light, and all that you need do as we go through this is to try to connect with the thought and the feeling of the author. There's none else beside him. It is written that there is none else beside him, meaning that there is no other power in the world with the ability to do anything against him. And what man sees, namely that there are things in the world which deny the household of above, is because he wills it so. In other words, there's one power, there is one active force, there is one actor in reality. And there is no other authority, there is no other author to anything that occurs in reality. But the fact that we see that the world is built in such a way that there seems to be an opposing force, well, this is done on purpose. And it's for our benefit. And it needs to be harnessed. It needs to be understood. And it needs to be included in our perception. And it is deemed a correction called the left rejects and the right adducts, meaning that which the left rejects is considered correction. This means that there are things in the world which from the beginning aim to divert a person from the right way, and they reject him from holiness. The hiddenness of the Creator is not a physical hiddenness. We feel perhaps he's not there, or maybe I believe in him, but the proof for it, we don't truly claim that if we saw him stand before us, we already know this. We know that we're not speaking about a physical proof, a physical reality. The hiddenness of the Creator is hidden not just from our physical senses. He is hidden from our inner sensation, our feeling of connection, our faith, our direct sensation in our thoughts. He is hidden from us by our doubts. Right? There's a quality of our inner state that when we are filled with doubt, then there is a rejection. That is, there's a hiddenness. We feel that it can't be so, and that there is perhaps some other force. It's this sensation, this inner state of hiddenness, where the reason for things, or to feel that there could be any kind of a divine guidance behind anything, our doubt covers it completely. This is the hiddenness of the Creator, and this is his method of teaching us and bringing us along. This means that there are things in the world which from the beginning aim to divert a person from the right way, and they reject him from holiness. It's built that way. It's part of the design, this hiddenness of the Creator, and the evolution towards the desire to perceive the Creator. And the benefit from these rejections is that through them a person receives a need and a complete desire for God to help him, since he sees that otherwise he is lost. This need is actually what Kabbalah defines as prayer. To a Kabbalist, prayer is not words spoken. It's not something of the mouth. It's not the repetition of things, words and ideas in a prayer book. It is a gut-level need. It's something that has occurred in a person's desire for which there can be no other answer but the thing desired for. And the hiddenness of the Creator and this action of the right and the left hand purposely create a need specifically for the closeness to the Creator. That is, for doubts to be removed, for us to rise above the aspect of our nature that engenders these doubts. And that's the benefit. This is called a correction, this development of this desire. And what is it that happens? How is this benefit felt for a person? He's not only does he not progress in the work, this is how he feels, but he sees that he regresses and he lacks the strength to observe Torah and mitzvot, even if not for her name. So we know that the goal is to be able to be like the Creator, to create an inner similarity of form, of intention towards the Creator, which would be to bestow without thought of self, without that need, to be completely in bestowal, which is called for her sake or lishma. But a person can't even come close to that, so that the sensation that is teaching them and evolving them and building the need is a sensation that they can't even do this work, even if not for her name. That is, even for themselves they can't do it. The rejection and doubt is so complete, and it's part of the process. It happens. It is one hand and then the next hand, one hand and the next. When this happens to a person, it's not happening because there's something wrong with the person. It's happening because it's in the system and it's built that way. That only by genuinely overcoming all the obstacles above reason, he can observe Torah and mitzvot. So this is the thing that's built for a person. That it's not possible by dealing with a doubt and then with some kind of a filling, a delight at feeling close. These two variations always produce a hiddenness, a sensation of hiddenness, and that the only way that a person can proceed to actually observe Torah and mitzvot, that is to become like the Creator, draw close and bond with the Creator, is above that level, above reason. But he doesn't always have the strength to overcome above reason, that otherwise he is forced to deviate, God forbid, from the way of the Creator, and even from not for her name. And he who always feels that the shattered is greater than the whole, meaning that there are a lot more descents than ascents, and he doesn't see an end to these predicaments, and he will forever remain outside of holiness, for he sees that it's difficult for him to observe even as little as a jot, unless through overcoming above reason, but he is not always able to overcome. And what shall be the end of it? This is the extent of the hiddenness and the need that it evokes in a person. It comes to an extreme expression. That is, the more that a person wants this, the more they truly desire this, the more it appears that they're pushed away. And this is a response similar to the response of a parent to a child who is beginning to be an adult. You give them more room. You give them a kind of independence. You step away, and the depth of confusion of that adolescent or the young adult is an extreme situation, and it's done as by a loving father towards a child. This extremity of distancing. And what shall be the end of it all? How is it even possible? Then he reaches the decision that no one can help him except God himself. And this causes him to make a heartfelt demand of the Creator to open his eyes and his heart and to bring him nearer to eternal adhesion with God. This is what eventually happens. A true prayer appears within the person. That you can't fool the Creator. You can't say one thing and really desire another. This is the kind of prayer that is answered immediately, because the Creator is the whole of reality, and the force of development responds to those particular conditions that allow for development. That is, there must be something in the creature that allows a higher state to occur for them. And that higher state only happens as a result of a deepening need. So it says, it follows then that all the rejections that he had experienced had come from the Creator. That means that the rejections he experienced were not because he was at fault for not having the ability to overcome, but because these rejections are for those who truly want to draw nearer to God. And in order for such a person not to be satisfied with only a little, namely, not to remain as a little child without knowledge, he receives help from above so that he won't be able to say, thank God he observes Torah and performs good deeds, and what else could he ask for? This action of the Creator, this rejection that was given to him, this doubt that entered him, was given to him by the Creator, specifically so that he would not remain still, so that he wouldn't be satisfied with some sensation at a distance, some idea, some belief. In other words, that he wouldn't function as a child in reality. Oh, there is a God, and he will take care of me, and if I ask for something, maybe he'll change his attitude towards me and be nice to me and take away this situation. No, this is the way that a child tries to deal with and manipulate a parent. But what is it that a child can do to a parent that would change the quality of the love towards the child? Even in the natural world, in the physical world, the love of a mother or a father to the child, it encompasses everything for the child. There's nothing that will change it. It's constant. So for the person not to remain this way would be not to be satisfied with this condition. That this force both of drawing close and of pushing away is to evolve us into a spiritual adult. And only if that person has a true desire, he will receive help from above. So that's the condition. Only if a person has a true desire, of course there will be help from above. It's not that the Creator changed his attitude towards the person. It's that the person changed their need for the Creator. Their desire, which is a vessel, opened a place in which perception of the Creator can occur, so it does occur. It's a law. It happens. The answer to the prayer depends totally on the change in attitude within the creature. And he is constantly shown how his faults in his present state, that is, he is sent thoughts and views which work against his efforts. And this is in order for him to see that he is not one with the Lord. In other words, this contrast of feeling rejection and thoughts of doubt, they're not his. They are an action of the Creator on him while he is becoming a spiritual adult, while he's growing. And specifically, the hiddenness comes from, must be experienced as doubt and must go against his efforts, no matter how broad or how good or how precise he may have been progressing up until that point. It must undermine all of that purposely. And that is so that he can see a contrast between where he is now in a particular state and what he needs to overcome above reason, where he needs to be next. Because to be satisfied, you think, oh, I'm one with the Lord, I'm fine, I had this perception, I'm okay, I know everything now, I've got some kind of belief on this level. No, the Creator wants to create a creature and fill it totally with a bonding with the light. It has to be unbounded. So we have to see how unlike the next level we are so that we build this need again to move towards that level. And as much as he overcomes, he always sees how he is found in a position farther from holiness than others who feel one with the Lord. But he, on the other hand, always has complaints and demands, and he cannot justify the behavior of the Creator and how he behaves towards him. And it pains him that he is not one with the Lord until he comes to feel that he has no part in holiness whatsoever. So, a person sees his situation change. He's not satisfied with the things that others around him are satisfied with. He comes to a point of complete preparation, that is, of complete doubt and complete despair. This is one of the things that occurs. And this is a preparation. It's a despair towards the goal, not a despair against life, that life is not worthwhile, but that according to the goal that that he has determined, his intention to bond with the Creator, he sees that it is completely beyond his capability. That is, the capability of his created nature and the will to receive, and his actions, his intelligence. It can't be done that way. And although he is occasionally awakened from above, which momentarily revives him, but soon he falls into an abyss. However, this is what causes him to realize that only God can help and really draw him closer. So even the enlightenment, even the awakenings that he receives will not do the job. It must continue to the point where there is a complete need only for the Creator, only for the light. One has to really abandon this idea that there's something we can do with our actions in this world. No action by a person will do anything to advance this. Only the growing inner desire will change anything. A man must always try and cleave to the Creator, namely that all of his thoughts will be about him. And that is to say that even if he's in the worst state, from which there cannot be a greater descent, he should not leave his domain, namely think that there is another authority which prevents him from entering into holiness and which has the power to either benefit or harm. And that is the substance of doubt, that there's some other reason for this occurring. Either it's me, or it is the world is conditioned in a certain way, my environment prevents me, that there is something other than the Creator doing all of these actions. That is, he must not think that there's a matter of the power of the other side, which does not allow a man to do good deeds and follow God's ways, but he should think that all is done by the Creator. The Baal Shem Tov said that he who says there is another power in the world, namely shells, is in a state of serving other gods, and that it's not necessarily the thought of heresy that is the sin, but if he thinks that there is another authority and a force apart from the Creator, by that he is committing a sin. That it's only the giving up of the goal of thinking that there is another power that draws a person away to make a decision that it is not only one force, it is not all the Creator. This distance is called sin. Furthermore, he who says that man has his own authority, meaning that he says that yesterday he himself did not want to follow God's ways, that too is considered to be committing the sin of heresy, meaning that he does not believe that only the Creator leads the world. All the thoughts that we have, all the feelings that we have, and all of the choices that we make based on those until we come to equivalence of form with the Creator, until we begin to sense spirituality, every single one of these things is placed in us. These are all actions of the Creator. Man has no authority in this, only his desire, only the growing of the vessel, specifically in a need for the light. This true prayer is the only action of man and the only thing necessary to ascend. We'll continue this article next time. Join us then. Hello again, and welcome to Kabbalah Revealed. I'm Tony Kozenek. In this lesson, we're going to continue with the article, There's None Else Beside Him, by Baal ХaSulam. Now, this article contains the entire methodology of Kabbalah. All of the wisdom of Kabbalah is included in this article. And even though we're picking it up from paragraph 10, one of the qualities of Kabbalistic books is that even though it is a complete system that takes a person end to end from their starting point in their will to receive and in their condition of hiddenness from the Creator and reveals the whole of reality, the text speaks to a person no matter where they are and at any point from the text. So it doesn't really matter where you enter, it just matters that you enter. And entering means that you try to feel the thought of the writer. You try to rise to his level and bring your desire to know spirituality and to enter it into the text. And then you'll be able to feel yourself and your condition, and the text will speak to you where you are. So we're starting from paragraph 10. A man must always try and cleave to the Creator, namely that all of his thoughts will be about him. That is to say that even if he is in the worst state, from which there cannot be a greater descent, he should not leave his domain, namely think that there is another authority which prevents him from entering into holiness and which has the power to either benefit or harm. This is the thing that the person must cling to, that every action that occurs, all of the positive things that occur and all of the things that seem to hide the sensation of the Creator from the person, that fill him with doubt and make him feel that the path to holiness is blocked, that he should understand, that his thoughts should cleave to the Creator in that it's only the Creator that does these actions with him. There's only one actor in reality. And this is always the Creator, no matter what our doubt may speak in our ear, no matter what the will to receive may say, that there is some other factor, something in the person, something in his environment, some force working against the Creator that is causing this problem. That a person should never leave their domain of the clinging to the Creator or the goal of why it is that they seek to bond with the Creator, and listen to the whispering of the will to receive. The doubt is sent for a reason, and it's sent from the Creator. That is, he must not think that there is the matter of the power of the other side, which doesn't allow a man to do good deeds and to follow God's ways, but he should think that all is done by the Creator. The Baal Shem Tov said that he who says there is another power in the world, namely shells, is in a state of serving other gods. That it is not necessarily the thought of heresy that is the sin, but if he thinks that there is another authority and force apart from the Creator, by that he is committing a sin. And that is the definition of sin in Kabbalah. The thought, that is the conviction that there is anything but the Creator that is acting in this situation. Because the person must always strive to connect each event in life and their own inner sensations to the Creator, that everything, every action is happening as a result of the Creator's act, and it is only the response of the creature which is his intention in regards to these. How it's evaluated, that brings a person closer to the target or farther away from it, and that distance from the target, from attributing all of this to the Creator, the closeness is adherence to the way, and the distance from it is considered to be a sin. Furthermore, He who says that man has his own authority, meaning that he says that yesterday he himself did not want to follow God's ways, that too is considered to be committing the sin of heresy, meaning that he does not believe that only the Creator leads the world. Even if a person thinks that their own actions, that their own thoughts and choices are their own, that what they sense as their own actually originates from them, it is as though the person is an authority against the Creator, which is not so. Even the desire to come to the Creator was placed in us by the Creator. Just as the left hand pushes away through the sending of doubts, likewise, the right hand awakens a person and gives them the sensation that they are choosing to come to the Creator. It's not the action. It's not whether we feel that we are being rejected by holiness or being drawn by it that is the issue for our progress. The whole point is to understand that it is our attitude towards what's occurring that will be the place in which our independence, our freedom, and our likeness with the Creator will appear and develop, not in the actions. And all of these things that are that we consider to be external and internal are really an improper perception. All of this is actions by the Creator, and we are more or less in agreement with it. We more or less assign all of these to the Creator and want it to be that way. Enjoy and return that knowledge to the Creator. But when he's committed a sin, and he must surely regret it and be sorry for having committed that sin, but here too we should place the pain and the sorrow in the right order. Where does he place the cause of the sin? And what is the point that he should be sorry for? A man should then feel sorry and say, I committed a sin because the Creator hurled me down from holiness to a place of filth, to the lavatory where there is filth. And that is to say that God gave him a desire and a craving to amuse himself and breathe air in a place of stench. If a person feels that they made that choice themselves, that they're bad and they chose not to move forward towards the Creator, that they wanted to satisfy their will to receive as opposed to progressing towards developing the will to bestow, that they messed up. This is also the thought that they have some kind of authority. The blame is not on the person. There is no blame. There is no responsibility in the action. The responsibility is in the intention. And this is not to say that people go around doing actions that we know from our society are illegal, etc. We're talking about an inner state. We're talking about a movement within a person to experience something for themselves as opposed to maintaining the desire to bestow. But the desire to move in either direction is given by the Creator. The fault is not with the person. And you might say, as it says in the books, that sometimes a man incarnates in the body of a pig, that he receives a desire and a craving to take livelihood from things that he already determined were litter, but now he again wants to revive himself in them. Now remember, all Kabbalistic books are written in language of branches. To reincarnate or to incarnate means to use a particular desire, to identify with a particular need and a particular delight, that is, its filling. And in this case, it is the reason for something. So if a person incarnates in the body of a pig, that is to say, it's a lower state than the state of a human. The desire is a desire for self-fulfillment on the simplest kind of level of self-satisfaction. And the person already knows, because of their goal, that their goal is above the level of animal desires, that it is a human desire, that what a person is attempting to do is to develop a soul, which is the human level of spirituality. And yet, he finds himself taking sustenance from something that he already has determined is not his goal. Still, it's not the man who did this. The Creator hurled me down to a place of filth. We don't need to worry about these states. The only thing that we need to do is to relate them all to the Creator. That's where our ascent is. That's where the path towards spirituality is, not in the externals. And also, when a man feels that he's in a state of ascent and he tastes some good flavor in the work, he must not say, now I'm in a state where I understand that it is worthwhile to worship God. Rather, he should know that now the Lord fancied him. And for that reason, he draws him near, which is the reason why he tastes the good flavor in the work. And he should be careful never to leave the domain of holiness and say that there is another operating force besides the Creator. Awakenings are as big a problem as descents because of the satisfaction. And the problem that can occur within us as we progress, to be satisfied at a certain level and remain still in that satisfaction, and to lose a connection with the Creator and believe that, well, now that I've had some kind of ascent, my intellect is full. Because when a person studies Kabbalah, they become a lot smarter. You begin to see how systems work. You incorporate the intelligence of the whole system in you because you agree with it, basically. But that doesn't give you any advantage over anybody else. You cannot progress in the Kabbalistic work or in the work towards spirituality but with any special talent. No special talent is required. The simplest man with the proper attitude can reach the highest levels. And the idea that now one understands something as a result of awakening is to worship other gods. It's to believe in another force other than the Creator. Anytime there is awakening, it's not because you did something. It's because there was an action by the Creator, the right hand of the Creator, drawing a person forward. This means that the matter of finding favor in the eyes of the Lord, or the opposite, doesn't depend on man himself, but everything depends on God. And man, with his external mind, cannot comprehend why now the Lord likes him, and after that he does not. That's actually the problem, because our perception of good and bad, and the reasons for things according to our will to receive, which really constitutes our mind, hides from us the real meaning behind an action. That is, the thought and the love of the Creator and the giving of that action through both the left and the right hand, in which He pushes away and draws us close and uses this whole system of hiddenness. What is hidden from us is the benevolence, the contact with the benevolence. It's how we perceive, the degree to which we perceive the goodness that really constitutes our connection with the Creator. This is what's called revelation. The revelation is only to reveal the quality of the Creator, which is unconditional love. And likewise, when he regrets that the Creator doesn't draw him near, he should also be careful not to be sorry for himself. for having been distanced from the Creator, for by doing so he becomes a recipient for his own benefit. And he who receives is separated from the Creator. So if a person falls and feels the distance and starts saying, I'm not going to make it, this isn't good for me, this is not working out for me, this also is a detachment from the striving towards the achieving of the will to bestow. This separates a person from the Creator. It is the main acts by which the creature was separated from the Creator in the first place. The will to receive puts us in opposite forms, so we can never achieve the bonding through thinking that I'm having a problem here in relation to the Creator. Rather, he should regret the exile of the divine presence, meaning for inflicting sorrow upon the divine presence. One should take as an example when some small organ of a person is sore. The pain is felt mainly in the heart and the mind, which are the generality of man. And certainly the sensation of a single organ cannot resemble the sensation of a person's full stature, where most of the pain is felt. Likewise is the pain that a person feels when he's detached from the Lord, since man is but a single organ of the divine presence, for the divine presence is the soul of Israel in general. Therefore, the sensation of a single organ does not resemble the sensation of the pain in general, and that is to say that the divine presence regrets that there are parts of it that are detached from it which she cannot provide for. And if a man does not relate the sorrow at being distant from God to himself, then he's saved from falling into the trap of the desire to receive for himself, which is the separation from holiness. There is a collective soul, Israel, the general soul of Israel as a whole, Adam Harishon, the original soul, the single creature, and the pain of the separation is felt all through the creation, which is the general soul in relation to the Creator. That pain is felt as suffering on every level of creation. It's not just that the person themselves are suffering. The collective as a whole, which is called Shekhinah, the divine presence, the collective soul, it feels it in each and every part of it. Our lack of concern for the whole, that our reception and any of our work would be just like an organ in a body that will function to its best ability and consider only the health and well-being of the entire system. If we can feel our sorrow and detachment on behalf of the sorrow and detachment of the whole, which cannot feel itself as whole, then we're not just thinking about ourselves. And this prevents us from making that primary mistake. The same applies when one feels somewhat closer to holiness. When he's happy at having merited favor in the eyes of the Lord, he must say that the core of his joy is that now there is joy in the divine presence from having been able to bring her private organ near her and not send it away. It's the other side of the coin. And man rejoices at having been endowed with the ability to please the divine presence. So a person's happiness, again, is not for himself, though he will feel the joy, he'll feel the filling, he will feel the closeness. It won't be on behalf of himself. This is what we need to strive for. This is what Lishma is. This is what doing Torah and mitzvot, Lishman, for her name, which is not for myself. That is the goal, and that is what this enables us to do. My joy will be in the fulfilling of life as a whole, that it can be connected, reconnected, and then one is doing an action towards all of humanity and all of spirituality and all of creation, and every action is on behalf of the whole. This is the goal, and therefore you have exactly the same attitude towards it as the Creator does, and this is a greater similarity of form, and this is a higher level of bonding. Although the will to receive is necessary, since that constitutes a person, since everything which exists in a person apart from the desire to receive is attributed to the Creator. We are the will to receive. We can't escape it. It's how we use the will to receive. It says that constitutes the person. And yet, everything that's not the creature or the will to receive, everything that is not that, is the Creator. It's all attributed to Him. All action, all everything that we feel as outside, those are actions of the Creator, guiding reality to bring us to complete fulfillment of the thought of creation. Nevertheless, the will to receive pleasure should be corrected to a form of bestowal. That is to say that the pleasure and the joy taken by the will to receive should be intended to bring contentment above, because there is pleasure below. For that was the purpose of creation, to benefit His creations. And this is called the joy of the divine presence above. This is the meaning of giving joy to the Creator. This is the meaning of giving joy to the Shekhinah. For this reason, man must seek advice as to how he can cause contentment above. And certainly, if he receives pleasure, contentment will be felt above. And therefore he should long to always be in the king's palace and have the ability to play with the king's treasures. What are the king's treasures? These greater and greater levels of the will to bestow, this greater and greater similarity of form with He who set the entire system in motion. And that will certainly cause contentment above. It follows that his entire longing should be for the sake of the Creator. And that ends the article. And that is the entire system, and in it there is advice as to how a person can deal with their attitude towards everything that occurs in life, and through that gain a perception of the greater reality. The book of Shamati is filled with articles of enormous depth and power, and one can read these articles many, many times, and each time a completely different view and depth will be presented to a person. And we will look at some other articles from this book as we go through this series of lessons. Thanks for joining us, and join us again next time.